Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Venompool Absolute Carnage from the Venom wave. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we're going to take a look at the accessories that this guy comes with. One of them is not so much an accessory, but a Build-A-Figure piece, of course, which is the Venompool head. This is not too bad. I like it for what it is. It's got some nice sculpt work and some nice painting. I like the staples in the head. You got some seams running down, and you got the little dip back there for Deadpool's mask. It's not too bad at all. This isn't something that I would want to build myself, but I've seen the figure all built together, and he's got some pretty cool proportions of that kind of top-heavy look, so I like that. But it's definitely pretty cool. The purple tongue's alright and stuff, so not bad at all. But moving on to the actual accessories, here is the Absolute Carnage head. I'm a big fan of this head sculpt, to be fair. I haven't actually had it on the figure just because I don't particularly like the spiral look. I haven't read the book, so I can't really give you an opinion on it. But as far as the design goes of the actual head, I like it. Just not that spiral, so I have the more classic looking head on there. And then he also comes with this back piece that has these tendrils on him. And I did do some surface level research to see if these are supposed to have black on them as well. And as far as the images that I've seen, it doesn't really look like he's got black and red tendrils. It looks like they're mostly just red. So I guess this is accurate, but I would prefer black paint on it. And that goes for the ones that are sculpted onto his body as well. Speaking of the body, here is the Carnage. And there's a look at the more classic looking head sculpt, which I like a lot. It's definitely a really nice figure. They missed the mark on the paintwork on the eyes just a little bit, so I don't like that a whole lot. It's not too bad though. Nothing to get too upset about. As far as the paintwork on the rest of the body goes, it's kind of hit or miss, but the nature of it, it's a little bit hard to tell, so from a distance and even up close it still looks pretty good. But if you kind of go deep in there, you can see some areas where they messed up, like on the back, right in this area, right in here, and some other areas. It's a little bit, doesn't line up quite right, so it's not that big of a deal, but it definitely is something to be aware of. And then right there, it looks like there might have been something right at the top of the hip that just is completely missing. But I really like the sculpt of this guy. He's got the tendrils all sculpted, or the black lines all sculpted, which is absent on the previous two Marvel Legends. And then on this one, he's also got the muscle kind of tendons and the muscle fibers all sculpted on there. So that's really, really cool. And he's also got some really nice articulation as well, which we'll get into. But I definitely like this guy a lot. See him all, a full body shot of him right here. He's also got some pretty nice proportions as well. I do like how the figure looks. He's not too lanky, or he's not too muscular. He's got that right amount of length that I like, so I'm a fan of that. And the shoulders look like a nice width, which is always something that bothers me. He's got some good thickness to him as well. He's pretty good looking, I would say, in comparison to some other figures. That's something that always bothers me whenever I do a custom. I always like to swap out the shoulders to something bigger, because sometimes it just does not look good like this. They're too low and too wide, or too low and not wide enough. So I definitely like this guy. He looks pretty good. But as far as the well, I was just about to say something. I forgot what it was. But actually, he's got some he's got the kind of toes hanging out. I prefer the closed off feet when it comes to Venom and Carnage. But in this instance, it doesn't really bother me. But I do think he looks pretty good. He's definitely a really nice looking figure. Definitely one of my favorites, I would have to say. Just because I'm always having fun messing around with this guy. And it looks like they used the original Carnage hands. They just retooled them so they have the actual tendrils sculpted on there this time. And then they just went ahead and painted them to be a little bit more inconsistent with the rest of the body. So I like that. But as far as the articulation goes, on the head you've got a ball hinge. Actually, let's take a look at the other head on here real quick. This one definitely sits on there a little bit better, and I do like that a lot. But this one sits on there a little bit lower. This one's a little bit high. And he's also, this one does too, but if you take a look at this one, you can see that it's kind of got like a specific mark out for the jaw. I guess they both kind of do, but I like that detail notice in that. But with his head all the way up, now here's one thing you want to make sure is, like, to try to eliminate some of that gappiness, you can push the head back further. So he can look all the way up as far as you need him to. He can look all the way down. So it looks pretty good. And you do get a little bit of attitude, just a tad, and then rotation, and taking a look at the articulation on the other head to see if it's any different. You can get that going up pretty far, and then you can have it going down pretty far as well. And then again, a little bit of attitude. This one might be a little bit more. It looks like you're getting more to the side, or to the jaw is going more to the left than it is to the right. That's at least what it looks like to me. I don't know. And then again, rotation. I don't know if I said that or not, but you do get the rotation, and the arms go up about horizontally. Full rotation. And then the butterfly joints are pretty good. You can get him to bring his arms in. His arms can't go back really at all, so that's useless. But he can go in forward a little bit. Then you get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation, and hinge, of course. And the articulation on the chest is, or the torso is very, very nice. You can go all the way down. Or he's about, I don't know, that's pretty good to me. And then the cherry on top is that the back of the figure doesn't look too unnatural, like a lot of Spider-Man figures do when they crouch down. He's missing some of the black sculpt work and paint, so that's a bit unsightly. But as far as going back, he does go back a decent amount, definitely not as far forward as he goes. He can go back, and he's got a little bit of a bump here, but it's not too bad. And then some rotation. The legs can go out about this far, so that's not too bad. The legs can go out just a bit better than horizontally. They can go back just a little bit. Thigh rotation, some nice double jointed knees, those are pretty good. And then you get the calf rotation or the boot rotation. I'm not a fan of this piece of articulation. If it's somebody who's wearing boots, then okay. But not bare ankles like this, or bare shins. Like Spider-Man figures and Venom figures and Carnage figures, I do not like this. It's not, if the human body can't do this. If it's down at the ankle, like a Mafex, then that's different. But I don't, I'm not a fan of this. The ankles can go all the way down. They can go up a pretty good amount. And then he's got like what seems to be ratcheted ankles. So he can do the ankle pivot very nicely. And then this one does the same thing, so that's a bit weird. Getting him standing up nice and straight. Taking a look at some size comparisons. Here he is next to the black suit Spider-Man and the classic costume Mafex Spider-Man. Just did reviews on both of these guys if you want to check them out. So he's about the same height, if not a little bit taller, so that's not too bad. And their legs are roughly the same distance apart, which is something you might want to keep an eye out for when you're doing your, when you're trying to judge how tall a figure is make sure your legs are around the same height, or around the same width. Here he is compared to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, so you can see that this definitely does not work in my opinion. I think Carnage should be taller than Spider-Man. I mean, if this was a real height difference, then that would probably make Carnage like 5'9", 5'8", if Peter's around 5'10", 5'11". So he's a bit short. Here he is compared to somebody who has no business being here, but he's going to be here anyway. The Mezco Netflix Punisher. That looks pretty good. And then two more figures that are probably going to be sticking around for the foreseeable future. For the foreseeable future, when it comes to the size comparisons, we have the modular Iron Man and the face-off Captain America. So they don't look too bad. Looks pretty good. So it looks like he fits in pretty nicely with everybody except the Spider-Man of his own line, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it is what it is. If you want to see what the back part looks like on the body, there's a look at that. Definitely looks pretty nice. So I think that's about it, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Notification bell, comments, all that good stuff would be greatly appreciated if you wish to do so. And until next time, true believers.